So, a lot of you are probably looking at this title and going, oh, great, it's another horse crazy girl presenting another horse crazy presentation. But by the end of this, I hope you and I can agree on at least one thing that the equestrian sport, is truly a sport. But before I even try and convince you that the equestrian aspect is actually a sport, we have to first talk about what defines a sport. So, a sport is an activity involving physical exertion and a skill in which an individual or team competes another or others for entertainment. So as we're moving through this, I want you guys just to keep this in mind. All three of these, the physical exertion, competing against one another for entertainment, and skill, the skill involved in the activity. And let me know if you don't think I hit any of them. So the equestrian world has many different facets to it, whether it's the Western side that we see in all the old, kind of cowboy movies with the ginormous saddles and they're all running and shooting at each other. Or you have show jumping, which is where we're jumping over big obstacles. You have dressage, which almost looks like horses and riders are dancing. There are many different aspects to this. And so let's think back to what I said earlier about physical exertion. You guys are probably thinking y'all do nothing, the horse does everything, because that's the most common response. But actually, even just sitting on a horse and doing basic riding for 45 minutes burns 200 calories. So if I were really doing nothing, would I be burning calories? Scientifically, the answer is yes. Even sitting and doing nothing, you're still burning calories. That's beside the point. But the point here is, even like I said, just basic riding burns over 200 calories. Now let's talk about, as I said before, the different facets of riding. Just one specialized type of riding, specifically for this example, reining or cutting horses, which is where a rider is on a horse and trying to separate cattle from its herd. It's called cutting. Burns 7 calories per minute, which if you add it all up, obviously, you guys can do the own math. I'm not great at math. Is a lot. So we're not really just sitting there and doing nothing. So check number 1 to the physical exertion. Now let's talk about skill, the skill involved in riding an animal. And for just a quick overview about all the things that I think about on a horse, has anyone ever tried to tell you to pat your head and rub your stomach? And how a lot of us just kind of sit here looking really funny? Yeah, that's kind of what horseback is, except to a really high degree. When I'm riding an animal, I'm thinking about every single part of my body moving in a different way. It really starts to become, complicated. So check to the skill box. I mean, like I said, how many of us can do this very easily? Not a lot. I barely can. I really had to practice to do that. And then the last part is, does it qualify as a competition? Yes, it most certainly does, because guess what you would have seen at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics? 3 different facets of equestrian. You would have seen the show jumping, which like I said before is, jumping over the big obstacles. Dressage, which is kind of like the horse and rider are dancing. And the third aspect is cross country, where a horse and rider are running through this basically obstacle course, except you have these ginormous obstacles that are pure wood and or rock. They're super solid. And even cooler, in the 2020 Olympics, you would have seen the Paralympic side of the equestrian world, which was only one of 22 sports selected to be shown and debuted at the Olympics. At the Paralympics. So let's go back again to what I said at the beginning of what defines a sport. Is there physical exertion? There most definitely is. Is there skill involved? Yes. And does it count as a competition between another team and others? Yes, it does.